Hello everyone, welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm super excited to dive into your reading. The energy today has been super clear and just really yeah. All right, let's dive in. Let's see. This has been a really good day for readings and creativity and yeah, so let's see what comes out in your reading. For Pisces, please, Spirit, for Pisces, what does Pisces need to know right now? What does Pisces need to know right now? What does Pisces need to know right now? Wow. Wow, oh my gosh. I don't usually have this happen, but this card flipped over in the deck, and you know, I have it happen a lot with tarot cards and stuff and with other decks, but I don't know if you can see, this is like a super glossy, you can see my candle. It's super glossy and thick, and so that doesn't usually happen in decks like that. And it's called Explore the Spaces of You. Find amazing things you never knew existed. Wow. This is reminding me of a reading from yesterday and a conversation from yesterday. How exciting, with a Pisces. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay. This energy is really giving me a vibe of these three cards are all very personal and are all very like you with you. And then this is you with someone. And so, you know, it's, you know, giving me a preparation feeling. It's giving me a little bit of a, you know, how it is now is not how it's going to be always, or even for, you know, this energy doesn't feel far away. I would just say that. It feels actually pretty close at hand. I keep getting kind of like references to the end of the year, so could just be, or like the fact that this is, you know, there's what, you know, 3 or 4 months left in 2025. I don't know where 2025 went, honest to goodness. In August is like a fever dream. I don't know where it went either. So, yeah, wow. This energy is kind of, it's giving me, you know, come into alignment within yourself. Focus on yourself and your own alignment and watch what happens. You know, this says wishes do come true. Simply trust that your wish has been heard. So this is what it's all for. This is what we're moving toward. All right. And so here are the energies that you have. Don't be afraid to feel. Feelings appear to resonate within you. Cherish the life you have. You are a gift to the world. You know, every day I light a candle. In fact, you saw its reflection. Where I express my gratitude to Spirit for this abundant life that I have and just my extreme gratitude for it. And it's not something I've always done. In fact, it's relatively recent that I started doing it. And it helps, you know, it does help. So, you know, I don't know, you know, not everybody resonates with lighting candles. I'm a candles and crystal person. Everyone in my life associates me with candles and crystals. When it's my birthday, I tend to get a lot of candles and crystals. Like, yeah. So I know that lighting a candle isn't for everyone, but I do think that, you know, just having something that you do every day that where you remember to, like, almost like a ritual to just cherish your life, because when you are grateful for what you already have, you know, more comes. And when you acknowledge the abundance of just existing, you know, of just being a spiritual being, having a human experience, Wow, this is reminding me of a different reading that I had on Monday. But it's so healthy, and it's so, you're connecting to the universe in that kind of energy space. And when you are mindfully choosing this every single day, you are adding a layer of depth and richness. And, you know, for me, saying, you know, thank you for this abundant life, or I am so grateful for this abundant life, it's like, I don't need to also say, thank you for my health, thank you for this, thank you for that. You know what I mean? It's everything. And just, yeah, I mean, and you know, it's funny because even when I say it on different days, certain things will come up to me, you know, like, you know, sometimes I'm thinking about my dog when I say it. Sometimes I'm thinking about my husband when I say it. Sometimes I'm thinking about all the passions that I have and how every creative endeavor I've ever set out to do, I haven't always been good at them, but I have always learned so much in the process. And, you know, usually I end up sticking with things long enough to get good at them, but I don't still pursue them all, but I have like let go of things and then picked them back up later. So like, these are the different things, like especially just this week, that I have been super grateful for. My the flowers that are blooming, the sunshine, the blue skies, like just there are so many things. And when we say abundant life and we even attach it with something, or we allow something to flash in front of our eyes that is, you know, that we are grateful for, particularly in that moment, it will be different. It will change. It will always, I don't even want to say like it surprises you, but sometimes it does. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're like, aw, you know what I mean? Anyway, it's just a good, healthy practice. And when you are aligned with gratitude and abundance, you are calling more of that into your life. And you are saying, listen, I've already got it. And when you've already got it, you're already that frequency. When you're already that frequency, that's how you're calling more of it into your life. So yeah. And this, don't be afraid to feel, you know, this also reminds me of a different reading on Monday. I hope all of you that have private readings are like, that's me, that's me, that's me. But yeah, this one, you know, sometimes we're afraid to, like, we'll feel tears pricking at the back of our eyes, and we're like, this is a really inconvenient moment to cry, or I don't want to go down that path, or I don't want to, I don't want to be sad, you know, because we don't want to be sad. Like, who wants to be sad? But it is so important to let ourselves, to like give into that and let that pass through us. You know, because we don't want to be a suppressor. We don't want to be someone who is holding back our true emotions. You know, we don't want to be in that habit. We don't want to also have something, you know, it's like, I was talking to a friend who needs to have some dental work. And he was like, well, they told me he thought it was an emergency. So he went to this emergency dentist, and the emergency dentist was like, you know, it's not an emergency, but, you know, it is something that you're going to have taken care of. And he thought the emergency dentist was kind of shady. So he was like, okay, I'll go see my regular dentist on regular hours. But he was calling me to get my dentist's number because I love my dentist, and everyone knows I love my dentist. And but I said, well, you know, I know she has a special day for emergencies, and she'll get you in on this day. And he was like, oh, that's an inconvenient day for me. I've got a lot going on. I'll just make a different appointment. And I was telling him, I was like, now listen, you need to just get in there and get it taken care of, because what happens is we put those things off. It's just like suppressing your feelings. It's like, oh, well, they told me it wasn't an emergency. And I reminded him, I was like, you thought the dentist was shady. You had no faith in their ability to fix it. And so you're gonna have faith in their ability to diagnose it because it's convenient for you. Like, no, you're worth more than that. And I was like telling him, I was like, do you want to get it taken care of now when, you know, you don't have a lot going on? Or do you want to wait until this emergency aligns with another emergency in your life, and now all of a sudden you have something that you have to take care of, and you either can't get your tooth fixed or you have to get your tooth fixed so you can't take care of the other emergency? You know, and that's the thing with emotions. It's like, you know, we don't control what life brings at us, right? And so at any given time, life can bring something to us that is unexpected that we are thrust into dealing with, right? And so do we want to have, it's like my grandma would always say, and this is a very common phrase, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's like, do we want to wait until we're having some other emotional problem to just let all these emotions come out? Or do we want to just let them out as they come up? You know, my yoga teacher always says, it's like emotions are like the fluffy white clouds in the sky, and we can just watch them float on by, just like thoughts are the same way. They're not, when we let them out, they don't overwhelm us. When we let them out, we don't create blockages and, you know, conflicts within ourselves, and we don't encourage our own emotional distance and our own emotional unavailability. So it is truly best to just let it out. Plus, when it comes to tears, I don't know if you guys have ever seen tears magnified under a microscope, but they have, you know, looked at all different kinds of water under microscopes, and, you know, water that has been like spoken to kindly and treated nicely and stuff, it's all harmonious. All the shapes within the water are all harmonious. But tears look like broken glass. And so you don't want to keep that in you. You want to let that out. You don't want that circulating. No, you want to be the clearest vessel for your highest and best. And so, you know, I feel like, Pisces, this is an opportunity for you to just kind of let go, release, let it all out, and really look at what you have, and look at what's in front of you, and look at what you have been gifted with, just with this gift of being a miracle, a living, breathing miracle, the experience of life, the good and the bad, but it's all such a gift. And then you have explore the spaces of you. And this is giving me, seriously, like, if you have interest, if you know, tap into anything and it's like, oh, I'm curious about that, go seek more, be a seeker, go find it, go do it, you know. And also, this is also giving me the vibe of something a little bit more subtle, which is almost observing yourself and how you handle certain things, or the type of friend you are, or the type of son or daughter you are, or the brother or sister or husband or wife or child or whatever it is. You know, you are bringing rare and unique things to the table. You know, I mean, I look at my siblings and we're very, very, very different. And there are the things that make me very different from them, I am extremely grateful for, you know. And it's not, this isn't about comparison, right? But it is about us with us. And, you know, if we feel good about the way we handle something, or the kind of friend we are, or the way we see things, or the way we interpret things, or the compassion we feel for, you know, people that we do not know. You know, I can't stop thinking about the Israeli hostages in Gaza. You know, the children that are starving, you know, all of it, you know. And I don't know anyone, or, well, I do know a few people in Israel, but like, I don't know, you know, I don't know any of those people, but I mean, I keep them in my prayers. I keep them in my heart. I feel for them. And for this, I am extremely grateful. I'm extremely grateful that I am the type of person that really, really, really cares about people that I will never meet, have never met, fellow humans on this planet. You know, I care about every single one of them. and I care about all of you, and I'm just super grateful to be here with you, and I'm thankful for that. And that's what this is. It's like those spaces within you. You know, are you compassionate? Are you empathetic? Do you literally, really, and truly care for the homeless person on the street? Good. You know, because we are all connected. This is a collective consciousness. Don't get me started. But when you look inside yourself, there are special things that you are. And you know, what this is actually overarching, kind of these 3 cards are giving me the vibe of, is it isn't about who we're in a relationship with all the time. It is about who we are, who that person brings out in us. And when you look at yourself and you look at your attributes and you think, these are the things I'm proud of about myself. These are the things that I care about myself. Those are the things that you want to be brought out by your partner, by your fellow person, you know? And that is going to be lasting. That is going to be something, you know, not to say that you'll always feel like you're that person, but it is going to strengthen those things within you. That's what relationships do. They pull those things out of you and highlight them. And so it's almost like getting really in touch with yourself, even to be able to sort of know, does this person add to my life? Do I like who I am when I'm with them? Do I feel safe and secure to feel all my feelings? And you find somebody that you can have all that with, and your wishes are coming true. You know, that's what it's giving me the vibe of. All right, now let's keep going. Wow, when the first 2 cards are runner and chaser. Okay, so some of you are probably locked in a runner-chaser dynamic, or you are in a relationship with a avoidant attachment style person. Wow, or you have been. Jeez. Wow. Woo, look at those cards. See, you have self-love, okay? And that's what this is giving me. You know, spending some time with ourselves and accepting and coming to a place of acceptance and peace with all of our feelings and every bit of who we are, even the shadow. We have a tendency to suppress the shadow and to be like, oh no, I'm ashamed of the shadow. Oh no. When you can embrace your shadow, when you can say, yeah, I'm like this, maybe I'm a bit of a people pleaser at times. And I say yes to things that I really want to say no to. That is a shadow. We feel like we're being nice. We feel like that's a positive trait. It's not being nice to you. When you want to say no and you say yes, that's not being kind to yourself. And yourself is who your Pledge of Allegiance is to. First and foremost, it has to be. So you have this energy of self-love. And I feel like this is having to do with this. Then you have this runner and chaser, which this can be an ongoing situation where may be what we're talking about, but this can also be when you have found yourself time and time again in a runner-chaser relationship, the need to say why, when we're running and when we're running, we are trying to avoid something. When we are chasing, we are giving our power away to something and convincing ourselves that we need that thing. Both of these have unhealthy roots. Both of these have toxic tendency written all over it. This we would say is anxious, and this we would say is avoidant when it comes to secure attachment styles, like, what type of attachment style you are. Both of these cards, it says, I don't want to run anymore, and I don't want to chase anymore. Yeah, neither one of these feels good. Neither one of them feels good. I can't even imagine how crappy it would feel to run away from the things that I want, you know, and to be responsible for that, and to feel like I can't, for whatever reason, just embrace what I want. Like, I just can't imagine how sad that is. And with the chaser, always feeling like what you want or what you need for your contentment and for your fulfillment is outside yourself, and that it's always in front of you, and that you always just have to get there, and you have to get there, and you have to get there. That's a horrible feeling also. And and neither one of these feelings are natural, because we are a living, breathing miracle, and we are worthy of whatever it is we want. When we're running away from it, we are running away from the divinity within us, you know? When we are chasing, we are not acknowledging the divinity within us, and we're not embracing the divinity that exists within us. We're denying it. We're saying, no, it can't be me. It has to be that thing out there. And these are in direct conflict with the innate experience of being a spiritual being, having a human experience. These are both in conflict with that. Because the basis of that is that we are, the divine is within us. And both of these deny that in different ways. They're both denials of that gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous gift, that abundance, cherishing the life that we have. And part of self-love is acknowledging that. You know, just this morning, I was actually meditating, and I was actually moved to forgive my former self for like a bunch of stuff. I kept for days having weird memories come up of, you know, different things that I did that I wish I hadn't done in my life, you know? Things I said, things you know, just stuff that I was like, ugh, I was in a place, ugh, I hate that I did that, ugh, you know? And I was like, why are all these things coming up right now? And so I was meditating, and I literally just got to this place where I was like, I forgive myself. And it was almost like a baptism, you know, like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it was like, I'm washing myself clean. Like, I forgive every single one of those experiences. They don't matter. They're having zero effect on my life, except for the fact that they're coming up, you know, out of the blue into my mind. And so I'm releasing myself from that by just forgiving myself. You know, when I knew better, I did better. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm human. You know, of course I have done things that I wish I hadn't done. Obviously, we all have. To say we haven't would be ridiculous. You know, and a lot of them are dumb, little stupid things. But here they are haunting me. So I forgave myself. I haven't thought about him since until this reading right now. So maybe that's something. But you have this dishonesty and this broken. And, you know, I'm looking at this whole reading almost as you with you and you with them, you know? And this dishonesty and this broken, you know, it kind of goes back to that whole shadow side thing that I was just talking about, where it's like, you know, when you deny your shadow, when you're ashamed of your shadow, when there are things about you that you feel like, wow, I don't want that to come to light, and I don't want to look at it myself, but I sure as hell don't want anyone else to see that in me. You know, I will say that when I first started telling you guys about myself and my own thoughts on this channel, I had these feelings of like, well, you're going to be able to judge me because I'm not holding anything back. You know, I'm not one to talk for no reason, you know? But at the same time, it's like, you know, this is what I truly feel called to do. This is what I truly feel like I'm supposed to do. And, you know, because the thing about it is with life, you know, whenever somebody says to you, like, for example, I'm just going to say this as a woman, you know, you have someone who's a little bit older than you as a friend, right? I have friends that are way older than me and way younger than me. And I was like, I don't really have very many friends my age. And so I have friends that are older than me, and, you know, they're women, and they would tell me about the experience of menopause. And, you know, this is something that is kind of personal, you know, and it's kind of something that, you know, people don't really want to talk about. I gotta say, I don't really want to talk about it. I'm pretty uncomfortable right now talking about it. But it was such a gift to me to be like, oh my gosh, I remember when this friend was going through this and it was part of menopause. You know what I'm saying? Or it was part of perimenopause or whatever, you know. I don't even care about menopause, to be honest with you. I've been very fortunate. But anyway, here's the thing. When as human travelers, when we really are very honest and very vulnerable and we share our true experiences and our truth with each other, we help each other. Because chances are, you know, there are other fellow travelers that are going through the same thing you've been through or have had the same experiences you've had. And just the fact that you have had them is a source of comfort to know that, like, oh, I'm not the only person who's, you know, alienated their entire family. Or, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, you know, and we have this in common, and that's such a gift. And I feel like, you know, it's, you know, I don't know. I try to bring it. But here, what I'm talking about is this denial of our shadow, or this like, no, I don't have a shadow, or, you know, I have faced my shadow. My shadow is gone. No, your shadow's never gone. Your shadow never leaves. It's the like healing. I don't want to go on and on in this reading, but this is just becoming like that kind of thing. Shadow gives light form. If we don't have shadow, there's no purpose to the light. There's just no purpose. If it's all light, then there's nothing. There's no form. It's just nothingness. If we came down to earth and we were blissed out all the time, and all we ever experienced was the positive of life, and it was just all light, there would be no purpose. There would be no point because it would all just be light. There'd be nothing to give that any meaning. There would be nothing to make that make sense, you know? And or to put it in perspective, or to make it beautiful, or to anything. It would be a one-dimensional experience of light. And while we think we want that, right? We think we want to be happy all the time. We think we want money all the time. We think we want this all the time and that all the time. You know, do you want to sleep with your brightest lights on, your overhead lights on? No, you don't. You need dark sometimes. You just need it. You have to have it, you know? You just have to. And so there's this energy of, you know, with the dishonesty and the broken, what makes us dishonest with ourselves is our inability to face our own faults, or to sit with our own discomfort. And when we can sit with our own discomfort, we become stronger than strong. We become more enlightened. We become braver. We become more curious. We become more courageous. We are much more willing to take risks. We push the boundaries of this life. We get the most out of this experience. But when we are afraid to make mistakes, when we, you know, can't admit or take accountability for our actions, when we have to lie to ourselves, what we're doing is we're cutting parts of ourself off, and we're leaving them in the shadow. And it's got a lot of shame attached to it. And it's like, those are all very low vibrational energies. And when you don't face them, and you don't sit with your discomfort, and you don't allow yourself to be human, you cut yourself off from so much of life. and so much of yourself. And there's a brokenness that happens because you're not whole anymore, because you aren't okay with parts of yourself. And that's a sad place. And we see that with so many people. And oftentimes those people will look happy. Oftentimes those people look wealthy. They look like they're winning, and they're not. They're just not. I mean, this is why I had to leave my family, because it was just full of people like that. And I was like, hell no. You know, I'm not going to be the only one here willing to accept culpability for anything and take responsibility for my actions and let all of you blame everything on me. How sad. And now they're living without me. And I can tell you that they've got to be miserable. I'm the only one that did any emotional processing in my entire family. So, you know, I don't know what they're sitting with now, in a cesspool, I'm sure. But the thing is, you know, we don't have to be broken. We don't have to, we can sit with the discomfort, and we can accept all the pieces and parts of ourselves, and we can even see the beauty in them and the need for them and the necessity of them. When we remember that without those parts, the light parts, those pieces of ourselves that we're so grateful for, right? You know, my same empathy and compassion, right, that I have for people I've never met has also led me to, you know, before I did a lot of meditation, being a bit emotionally explosive, you know, where I was reactive. And, you know, a meditation, if you are like that, meditate, it changes the way your brain works, and it's very, very helpful. And it, like, everyone can meditate. But anyway, embrace all the parts of yourself. You know, I feel like, you know, this dishonesty with ourselves, this not taking accountability for our actions, not allowing ourselves to be human, not allowing ourselves to embrace our shadow side, all those things, they lead to this energy, this runner and this chaser energy. It's an avoidant part of us, or an anxious part of us. It's like, oh God, if somebody, you know, doesn't love me or doesn't validate me, then I'm not going to, then it will be like I'm not worthy of anything, or, you know, and like I gotta run away from anything that gets too close to making me vulnerable, because I can't sit in discomfort. These are both things of, I can't sit in my discomfort. And that's what this teaches us. This is what the shadow teaches us. This is what the dark days teach us. How to fucking sit in discomfort. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable, but you can do it. You can do it. And it's a superpower, and it's gonna make you stronger. You know, it's like chair position in yoga. It hurts like hell. I mean, my whole entire body shakes sometimes, but I hold it, and I hold it because I know the discomfort is making me stronger. Yeah, it is, and so is this, and it's teaching you to sit in discomfort, the chair pose. All right, so anyway, let me move on. I don't know what's going on today. I sat down and was like, it's a great day. Okay, and then we have inseparable and conversation. And I love this energy of inseparable. This is like, I am not the you with you part of this. That was the you with you part of this. And the you with you part of this is, damn, if you accept yourself and you say, I refuse to cut any part of myself off. I refuse to say that any part of myself is not lovable, is not worthy, is afraid of anything, period. I embrace my whole damn self, and I forgive myself, and I love myself. And you know what I'm saying? If you're willing to be like, you can't have this without that. So I take it all, and I embrace it all, and I love it all, and I heart it all, you know, with yourself. And you are, this conversation, it's like, there's a word for this. Oh, I hate that I can never remember big words or like scientific words, or I want to say like cohesion, coherence. Okay. I looked up the word coherence and it says, oh no, it's a movie. Okay, I guess it's not a word. All right, I don't know. Okay, coherent describes something that is clear, logical, and understandable, whether a person's speech, a plan, or an argument. It can also refer to things that are logically or aesthetically ordered and integrated, like a coherent style or a coherent passage. Yeah, when we are in alignment, I think the word is coherent. I don't know, but that I'm trying to get to. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is when you are in alignment, your mind and your heart and your actions are coherent. They're all the same. They're all working together. They all make sense. And we don't have to think about it. There's not a lot of confusion about it because we are embracing ourselves and we know who we are and we accept who we are and we are at peace with who we are. So when we are in that state, we aren't like, well, I don't know how I feel about this, or I don't know what I should do about this, because everything is in alignment and we're like, oh, this is what we're faced with. Okay, great. Well, this is the choice for me. This is the obvious. So we're so in alignment that things make sense and that we are making the choices that best represent what's in our highest and best. If we're dealing with other people, when you deal with people who are misaligned and who cannot sit in discomfort, and you are trying to balance them out, even if you come and you are in a beautiful energy, in a beautiful place, they're going to take you out of it. That's the price you pay for dealing with people that are misaligned, and most people are misaligned. But I don't mean like just dealing with them, but I mean like being in intimate, relationships with people like that. And because they tend to, their misalignment needs, wants to be sort of justified, and so it will, pull that from you. And it will also try to convince you that you are misaligned in order for their misalignment to not show. And these things really mess with us. And so I don't know if some of you are coming out of a runner chaser energy, if some of you have been working on avoidant attachment style, anxious attachment style, that kind of thing, and you are, really coming into this full circle energy where you feel whole and ready and, in a space of self-love, and you are really ready to meet someone, and that person is coming in because you are in alignment, right? Or yeah, I kind of feel like that's the case. This could be a past person aligning within themselves. We'll find out when we get to the tarot, which we are never going to get to if I don't keep moving. You guys, oh my goodness. I just looked at the clock. I don't know how time passes so quickly with you. When I look up and it's an hour, I'm just like, what? Wow, okay. Okay. Man, these cards are all the same. I mean, they're giving me very the same vibes. You have fear and you have this dark energy. And this is definitely someone that doesn't want to sit in their discomfort. It says, I'm afraid you're not going to want me if you see the truth. And then you have fear. Love scares me because it scarred me. You have anxious. I can't sleep. I don't eat. And I have no sense of inner peace. right? This is someone who can't sit in their discomfort, but also can't escape it. And then you have depressed. Nothing matters anymore. I give up. And you have this limited. There's nothing I can do about it right now, which is us giving our power away to external factors. Whew. This energy, you know, sometimes I think readings come out in extremes to highly illustrate for people things, right? Or even for me, so that I am clear about the message. So know that everything happens on a spectrum, and just put this on your spectrum, right? But you can have such positive intentions, and you can come at someone with such beautiful energy of just like, I want to love and be loved, and I'm sweet and I care about you, and I'm this and I'm that, and choose someone who is badly misaligned, and it can misalign you. I also feel, though, here this energy of, why are you attracted to emotionally unavailable people? Like, this is something we have to get to the bottom of. You know, why are you, you know, sometimes it can be even the energy that I was talking about, how you care about everyone. You know, it's hard, right? Because we see everyone's worthy of love. And when we see someone who's worthy of love that doesn't have love, you know, we want to love them. You know, we want them to have it. We want them to experience it. That is even really, you know, part of being part of a collective consciousness, you know, and almost sensing that we are all connected, and, you know, wanting to help the underdog, or the, you know, the person who hasn't gotten a lot of help, you know. But it can also be toxic, you know, and it's especially toxic when we put that person's needs before our own. And that's what typically happens in scenarios like that, especially when we start making big investments and we feel like we can't pull back from it, right? Let's dive into the tarot. Wow. Oof. All right. We have the moon in reverse with the 4 of coins and the love card. And I think this came out yesterday with the distorted feminine energy. And I think this is what's coming out right here. The moon is divine feminine energy in its like most simplistic form. The moon is in reverse, and you have the 4 of coins here. And the 4 of coins, feminine energy, when it is in its highest form, its divine form, it is very open and very receptive. And the 4 of coins is an energy of being very closed off, you know, the exact opposite. And we have the moon in reverse, and then we have the lovers here. So, you know, again, you know, this is just giving me like someone who can't sit in their discomfort. And it's also like, I want to receive, I want to be loved, I want to be validated, but I'm only choosing people who can't possibly give it to me. You know? And you have the lovers on the bottom of the deck. You know, and then I'm saying, why is this always happening to me? You know, but we have to remember there is a certain amount of choice who, you know, the heart wants what the heart wants, right? We hear that all the time. We say that all the time. And it is, you know, it is true. But before the heart, like, we have to really listen. Because sometimes our heart is like, I want love, I want acceptance, I want peace, you know? It's pretty much what the heart says. And our mind will then go looking for where we can get that. Who can give that to us? And then our mind will settle on someone and convince us that is the one. And then we'll start daydreaming about that person. We'll start inventing who that person is, who we want them to be, you know, all those things. And we have to be really careful when we are in a distorted feminine form, because we really do tend to be attracted to people that are going to confirm to us what we already believe about ourselves or what we have already experienced. So like, if you've been abandoned or neglected or, mistreated in some way, or, you are used to narcissistic relationships or whatever, this is how we perpetuate those cycles. And the thing is, we have to look for what our heart is telling us to look for, right? But we have to also be realistic and ask ourselves, is this person probably really capable of giving us this? And when we are really super driven by our heart to find these things, it can be really hard to be honest with ourselves. And that creates these scenarios where we really fall in love with people who are not able to give us what we want or need in this life. Because what we're seeking is love and acceptance and security and safety. And someone like this can't give us any of those things. They're cut off. You can't reach them. They have to make the choice to let down their guard. You coming at them in a space of, I'm going to give you love, and once I give you love, you'll let down that guard. It's a beautiful thought, and sometimes it works, but not very often. Because, usually someone just has to be in the space of being ready to receive and ready to give. And then when you find that person, you can have what your heart is seeking. But when you find someone who's really messed up, I don't no judgment, obviously. But what I mean is they're misaligned and they're closed off, and you're hoping that your love is going to realign them and open them up. The reality is there's a far greater chance that they're going to misalign you rather than that you're going to fix them. Because and this happens because those people refuse to sit in their discomfort. And if you're willing to sit in your discomfort, you're going to be sitting in the discomfort for you and them and the relationship. And that usually looks like, you need validation from me, I'm running away from you. I'm not going to give it to you because I'm closed off. All right. I do not know what this reading is about. It's for somebody. It's for somebody. Moon in reverse. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. See, they don't have anything to give. Yeah. Five of Wands, King of Cups. This person is blocked. They're not emotionally able to process, and you have the moon on the bottom of the deck. So, we don't know this about everyone when we meet them, but you can tell, there is an energy signature. The thing is, our mind will override anything. When our mind thinks, I'm getting my heart what my heart wants. My heart wants connection. My heart wants love, and here's this wounded person, this broken person, you know, paying attention to me. They're usually paying attention to you because you're an emotional supply for them. And I hate to say that, but that it really is the truth. And because they can't sit in their discomfort, so they need someone to process their emotions for you. They don't really have anything to offer you. It's all take. But it can seem like, because our mind is so willing to override what it really knows, to tell us there's the potential here, there's the possibility here. And this person seems to be into me, or willing to see where something could go. Well, yeah, because they have everything to gain and very little to lose. You have everything to lose and very little to gain. Okay. So, what's happening here, Spirit? This reading is so weird. So what this reading is saying is you're closing out this burdensome, difficult, cycle that has really been blocked off. Like nothing has worked out because your wishes are about to come true. Literally, look at these two aces and the Magician. I need to clarify this. This is insane. This is like saying to me, you're coming from this history of going for things that are unavailable to you. And now suddenly, something that you really want and something really solid and stable is about to be open to you after this period of, taking on the burdens of other people, basically. With the Ten of Wands, it's like other people are willing, that other people are going to put their burden on you. If someone's not willing to sit in discomfort and you are, and you're in an intimate relationship with them, they're going to be like, the burden is yours, 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 and you're going to end up like this, all burdened down, going, I don't even know what to do with this. I don't even know, I don't even know where to go or what to do. I don't have any kind of answer with this. And this is just freaking insane. This is insane. I am just like, what? It's reminding me of this quote. I literally just sent this to my best friend, I don't know, maybe an hour ago. You don't think your way into a new kind of living. You live your way into a new kind of thinking. And it's by Harry Nouwen, Nouwen. You don't think your way into a new kind of living. You live your way into a new kind of thinking. It's true. It's just so true. It feels like some major changes have been made here with this Magician, and especially with it being clarified by the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is like, it is that living your way into a new way of thinking. You have the Five of Swords on the bottom of the deck. This is why I'm saying this, okay? So you don't kind of take what you have and, how do I want to say this? Oh, God. How do I want to say this? The Knight of Pentacles, okay, is an energy where I always say this, it's really fucking hard. I don't know even necessarily where I'm going. I know that I have to put one foot in front of the other, and I have to move away from this point. So some of you could have been in really toxic relationships where it's like you just had to get out of them and you just had to keep going, okay? And you just had to put one foot in front of the other, all right? And it was difficult, but it was a decision you made. And this is how you live. The Knight of Pentacles is very material world. It's a pentacle, right? And this is like, you know, putting one foot in front of the other and understanding that each foot is progress, and that it isn't about going from point A to point B overnight. It is about not slipping backwards and not falling down the wormhole. And, you know, it is about putting one foot in front of the other and going in the direction you must, no matter how hard it is. Once you start doing that, once you start putting the one foot in front of the other, the way you think changes. The things you're willing to accept changes. The way you think about yourself, the way you think about love, the way you think about, you know, relationships, the way you think about a lot of things, it all begins to change. Because once you've had to work that hard to put space between you and something else, you're not willing to give that up. You're not willing to, you know, go through that again. You don't want to go through that again. It was so hard for you to get away from it to begin with, okay? With the Magician and the Knight of Pentacles, this is an alchemy kind of energy where it's like, you know, I know this isn't good for me, and I know I need to turn this into something else. Okay? And so these aces feel like a reward from the universe almost for the choice you made to put one foot in front of the other and to move away from things, to, you know, to gracefully let go of the things not meant for you, right? And with the Five of Swords, these are self-defeating thoughts, okay? This could be you, this could be someone else, right? And this, you know, sometimes we want to say, you know, I'm in a hole and life is heavy and life is dark and life is hard, and I, you know, what I want is for this person to come back in a different energy. What I want, you know, all the things that I want are very out of my control. And we start to feel very, very powerless and very, very defeated. And the thing is, so a lot of times you see people that like are like, well, I'm going to manifest my way out of this, or I'm going to wish my way out of this, or I'm going to, you know, I'm going to try to change my way of thinking, my way out of this. And because doing the Nine of Pentacles is hard. It's hard work. It's really hard work. You know, actually having to put the action steps in to move away from it is hard work. I was literally talking to a Pisces on Monday, and we were talking about how when you finally leave your family, you can do anything. You are so strong, and you literally know it. You literally know, if I can do that, I can do anything. Escape the pull of a toxic family. Oh yeah, I can do anything after that. Because nobody on earth wants to be an orphan. Nobody on earth wants to disown their family, you know, disassociate whatever with their family. That you don't want to. You never do. It's a very, 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 very hard thing to do. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But once you do it, you're like, oh my God, I can do anything, you know? And you really look at everything in terms of, I survived that. I did that, you know? And I can do this. And it's kind of giving me that vibe. Not that you're all leaving your family or anything, or that this person is even leaving their family, but it's like, once I know I have the courage to put this foot in front of the other, and I'm living my way into a different way of thinking, I'm escaping almost without running away. I'm not running away. The Knight of Pentacles is not running away. The Knight of Pentacles is putting distance between you and the things not meant for you, that are hard to walk away from. You don't want to walk away from it, but you have to. You just put one foot in front of the other. And with the Five of Swords, you know, it's going to have an effect on the way that you're thinking and what you think is possible in the world, right? And how you even sort of view yourself. And the further away you get and the harder you work to get away from it, the the more courage you have, the more you shift into this inseparable conversation energy where you're like, I'm in coherence, you know, or whatever, cohesion, coherent, whatever the word is that I'm trying to get to you. I am in alignment. And, you know, every move I'm making is representative of that. You will not let people put their crap on you anymore. You will not, because you work too hard to get away from it, and you know it's not necessary. You know that you are way, way, way stronger than you ever imagined that you were. And that your bravery is second to none, and that you are worth it. Because you determined you were worth it when you walked away, when you put one foot in front of the other. Every step you took was you saying to you, we're worth it, you know? And this is a choice that you consciously made. So you're being rewarded here for something. That, or this can be a transformation someone else is making, and they may be coming into your life. You may be getting a new beginning here after a burdensome ending. But with the Hierophant and the Ace of Wands, this is like a spiritual reward. The Hierophant is a spiritual gatekeeper, right? And so this is like, you've made it. You got the key, you unlocked the door, you've made it into the next phase, into the next zone. And you did it yourself. Knight of Pentacles, you did it yourself. You took your power back. You alchemized it. You took your power back. You made this choice. You took it back, and now you're being rewarded. You got 2 aces. This is something you really want, and it's something really strong and really stable. Wow, okay. We have the 3 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. Wow. The Hangman. And wow, the World. Man, there's a completion that's happening here that is shifting the way we view our future and the way we look at what is coming and what is possible and what we are even expecting and believing are coming for us. You know, the Wands are always talking about manifestation, and the 3 of Wands, this is like where our ships come in. And this to me is giving me very much like, as I look to my future, I know I can expect some pretty big rewards. You know, I know it's happening for me. Like, I know I'm in alignment with it. With the Hangman, this is putting our entire past in perspective and coming to a place of peace and acceptance with it so that it can't pull us back. It's like that big moment I had after manifesting where I was like, after meditating, wow, where I was like, I forgive myself. Man, I have, this is why today has been so clear and so good, because I forgave myself. Yeah, it was crazy. I really encourage you guys to do it. It's like, you know, you got to do it like authentically, but like, yeah. And this is the completion. This is a completion. The World card, now it's like everything that is meant to you for you can find you. You are a magnet. It is pulling you. She's holding the red string of fate in her hand here. You know, you're pulling in a soulmate. I don't know if it is a past person who has had to go through this huge transition. I don't know if this is you that's gone through this transition and now you are fully in alignment with something, with a deep soul connection, and you are pulling it to you. That red string of fate is what holds all of our soulmates to us in this world. And when we pull on it, they come. So there's this energy of like, what I can expect or what I know is coming in for me is huge, is beautiful, is incredible. Like, the ships that I know are already on their way to me are outrageous. And I know I can expect it. I know it's happening for me. It's shifting completely the way we look moving forward. Oh my gosh. Whew. You have the World card with the 5 of Cups. We're closing out a cycle where we've been really focused on the past and crying over spilled milk. Where we have been really focused on the things that we can't do anything about. that have heightened our sense of helplessness. And we're closing that out. We are not helpless, and we don't feel helpless anymore. We're taking our power back. Lord help me. I hope this is happening for the whole world. But we have the Hangman here with the Page of Wands. And this energy is like, now that I'm at a place of peace and acceptance and deep, deep, deep understanding with the past, I know what the hell I want, and I'm signing up for it. I'm not shying away from it. I'm not running, and I'm not chasing. I'm choosing this path. Okay, with the Empress, hello, we're coming into our energy where nothing is impossible for us. The Empress with this Three of Wands is making me insane. This energy, it's so intense. It's like, yeah, I know it's already mine. I know it's already out there. It's coming to me. It's just a matter of time before it pulls into the harbor. And I manifested it. I worked my butt off. I went into the Knight of Pentacles. I moved away from something that, was really, really heavy and really, really hard for me. And I changed everything. I changed my way of living. And everything as a result is changing. And I have really big things coming in for me here. Man, Pisces, wow. Okay, I'm just going to get you guys some message cards because this reading is getting exceedingly long. I don't know where we went to, how we got on this path or this track, but those of you who are still with me at this point, leave me a comment. I love you. I thank you. You guys are diehard and outrageously amazing. All right. If you're dealing with a water sign, you have passion. I am sorry I triggered you. Triggered. My karmic story is ending. I thought about reaching out, but I don't know what to say. If you're dealing with a fire sign, yeah. Whew. Okay. Sometimes the shadow side of caring about every person in the entire world is a feeling of helplessness. It really is. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I don't know why I had to say that, but if you're dealing with a fire sign, my nerves get the best of me sometimes. I'm afraid to trust. You are so unexpected. I am choosing you. You are the one. It's a fine line. I don't want to miss my chance. I feel like this is something I'm supposed to say. It is a fine line. It's a fine line. That line between loving and helplessness. Wow, it is a fine line. Yeah, it's easy to slip into helplessness when you are a big feeler and very empathetic and very compassionate, and especially like in the world and the state that it's in right now, it's very easy. It's a slippery slope into helplessness. But remember, when you're in helplessness, it's because you've given your power away to external factors. If you keep your power, you have the power to help someone. A really good friend of mine, at her auto signature on her emails has a Margaret Mead quote, and it says, never forget that one person can change the world, or something like that. I'm totally paraphrasing it. It's perfect for her, but because she's that type of person. She's a mover and a shaker. But you have to maintain your power in order to make change. You have to maintain your power in order to do anything positive. The moment you slip into helplessness to love or to anything else, you don't have the power to change things. You've given it away. So you got to make sure you maintain your power. You don't cross that line. Okay. All right. If we're, okay, what is this? Earth signs. Sorry, I keep getting off track. This reading is crazy. Okay. You give me so much to look forward to. I want a future with you. Distant, regret, daydreaming, repressing. Okay. Twin flames, resentment, anxious, old flames, and I am working on myself. All right, you guys. Woo! I love you. If you've stayed all the way through this, you are a true one, a real one, and I appreciate you. Put a comment so I can see you. All right. Until next time, you guys, I send you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. I really, truly do. Bye-bye.